and third and fourth, everything that you said. Thank you for that. And I think, you know, my AZRA DDs would really, they will appreciate all your wisdom, because I agree. Like, you know, I think one thing you said was obviously like, you need to know that you're passionate about it before you commit to it. Yes. And then you also need to be flexible and nimble, and not like learn how to operate in the gray too. I think that's something that I've had to kind of learn over time, is like, you know, as an artist, it's, you know, there's this whole fantasy idea that like, oh, you want to pursue music, you want to be an artist, like quit everything and be that artist, right? Like that's kind of like the dream that, you know, many of us are falsely sold, you know, ever since we were young, and that whole idea of overnight success. But, you know, you come to realize as you're on this journey, it's not like that. It's like the greatest icons and the artists in the world with legacies, they've put in their work, yep, brick by brick, and even after a hit or two, they don't give up. They'll still grind and work hard and just continue to evolve. Yeah. And I think that's so important. And then like, you know, what you said, like progress is also success. It's not like the end destination. No. So all of that I think is so important. I think one story that you told me one day when I went into the studio, I went to the studio a lot, and the times we planned to just record and write, it most of the times I think ended up being like more than that, right? One time I went in, I remember, Jamie, and I was really distraught about something. Of course, like artist journey is always like this. Yeah, it's a roller coaster, and you told me a story and this analogy about like how our journey as an artist is a roller coaster. Yep. How like in the beginning, you'll see so many people like on the roller coaster with you. Yep. And as you go through the loops up and down, and it might be within that year, or it might be like over the course of 10 years. Yep. And you'll see at the end of that road, you might see the same amount of people, or most likely you'll see a fewer people. Like, do you want to kind of repeat that story? I don't know if I butchered it.
No, you didn't. You were right. I mean, basically I was saying is, you know, my experience has shown me that, especially the music business, it's a roller coaster, right? And the thing is, sometimes people will look at their talent and say, well, I'm so talented that when I ride this roller coaster, I don't need to put on a seatbelt. I don't care if there's loops, twists, and turns. Like, I'm dope. Like, I could just hang on. And when it goes over, I won't fall out. I'll be good. And then what happens is, you know, you have the folks who say, well, listen, I got some talent too, but I'm also smart. I'm putting on the seatbelt. I'm going to do what I need to do to make sure that at the end of this ride, I'm still sitting in this car. And then hopefully I'll enjoy this ride and ride it again and keep going, because it's an up and down thing, man. You start going up, and you know, when you're going up, if you've ever been on a roller coaster, it's crazy, because as you're going up, you could just see everything. You can see the whole city at nighttime. You see the lights, beautiful. You could see everything. It's like you're on top of the world. And then you get to the top. And remember, when it's going up, it's kind of slow and ticking. And then you get to the top, and it just starts.
That adrenaline.
Yeah. And then next thing you know, it takes off and it goes down. And you're screaming because it's going down. Yeah. And sometimes with a lot of folks, especially in this business, when it takes off and starts going down and they don't have their seatbelt on, they fly out. The folks who have their seatbelt on, though, the folks who are really enjoying the ride, every part of the ride, the up and the down, the people who put that work in, who stood in that long line to get on the roller coaster, you know what I'm saying? They stay in the ride, and then what happens, right? It goes back up. It goes back up and it goes down. It may hit some twists. It may hit some loops, you know? But the thing is, you strap yourself in and you enjoy the ride. You stand in that long line. You do what you got to do to get on the roller coaster. And then once you get in, you don't just assume that you're so strong that you can just hang on to that little rail in front of you and not fall out when it goes in a loop. Like, I'm sorry, you ain't that strong. So many people think they are. And what happens, get on that roller coaster of life, that roller coaster of this music business, and they fall out. Or, you know, first time it comes down, man, you know, I don't know if you've ever been on a roller coaster and they tell you, you know, you can put one hand over your mouth, put one hand in the air if you're getting sick, and they'll stop the ride.
What?
Yeah.
I've never heard that before.
No? Oh yeah, certain places, like, listen, like for me, Magic Mountain, especially growing up, like I had a season pass every year. I would go to Magic Mountain.
Love Magic Mountain. Yep.
Yeah. So certain rides, not always the roller coaster, but certain rides at Magic Mountain, like you could put a hand over your mouth and one in the air as you're driving, meaning you're sick and you're about to hurl. And if one of the people that work there will see you, they'll stop the ride and let you off because you can't take it. Your stomach's not strong enough for it, right?
Uh-huh.
And I look at life and just everything a lot the same. I think that the whole analogy of the roller coaster can really apply to so many different things that
I love that.
Nothing is easy. Everything is going to have twists and turns. The question is, how are you built? You know what I'm saying? Are you a mixture of a hard worker with talent? Are you a person who's patient? Are you a person who understands that, I want to get on this ride, but there's like, 1 million people at this park today, and it says that I'm going to be in line for an hour. Like, do you have that patience to stand in that line? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? To do what you need to do to accomplish your goal. And then once you get on there, you got to realize that I don't care how talented you are, whether you're a talented basketball player or a talented singer or whatever, talent alone gets you nowhere. It might get some people to look at you and listen to you, but it doesn't keep you where you want to be. You got to be a hard worker like you. That's one of the things I respect about you is you work your butt off. Like you don't mess around. And I appreciate that because I feel like I've always been the same type of way. And, there are people who might sing better than me. They might dance better than me. They might do a whole bunch of things better than me, but they ain't going to outwork me. Like they ain't going to be able to live my dream better than I can live my own dream because I know what it is I want to do. And, that's why I got into songwriting and producing because I got tired of depending on other people to do what I felt like if I put a little extra time in, I could do myself. Mm-hmm. So I put that work in, I put the time in. And when we would, be on the road, man, and just, on tour and we're playing stadiums, and it's like after a show, everybody want to go to a club, wind down, have a drink, play some pool, just chill. I was in my room with my studio, my road studio that I was taking everywhere. Our record could have come out on a Tuesday. Well, on Wednesday, I was writing songs for the next record, which may not be for another year because we're going to be touring and supporting this record. But I figured I got so much music inside of me. If I put the same importance on it now as if the record's about to be released, then when I get to that point, well, it's time for us to start working again, man, I'll have a whole list of songs ready.
Right.
And that's why I used to write half of all the albums. So while everybody else, and the thing is, we were never big partiers. So partying for us after a show was literally like, we might go to a bar, and if we went there, it was really just to play, pool or throw some darts or,
Or just like reflect on the show that you just did.
Yeah, well, I mean, we talk about it, but, just, we were never like hard partiers. Like we never did that, and but the thing is, even for me, I did that sometimes, but most of the time, anytime we had any time off, I was working. I would be in our dressing room before a show. Everybody would be chilling and doing their thing. I would have a whole studio set up in the dressing room and would be working and writing and trying to come up with tracks and learn how to do all of this stuff. And then after the show, I would come back out, break down my stuff, and set it up on the bus, And then I'd be on the bus, and everybody back then, PlayStation had just come out, so everybody be in the back playing PlayStation, playing Tekken. I'd be in the front of the bus, taking up the whole table with my keyboard and my recorder and my microphone and my speakers, working on music. And they'd be like, why are you working on this music, Jamie? We just dropped an album. This is the first week of touring. And I'm like, yeah, but what's going to happen is you guys are going to be wondering why you're not writing more songs on the album because you're not going to have anything ready. See, I'm going to be ready because if I stay ready, I ain't got to get ready.
Right. Yeah. I love that. I'm pretty sure you were on the road during one of our creation, I think. Yeah. And then you came back. And I remember you telling me the story. You're like, I have a whole setup in my hotel. And I was like, I love that. For me, I'm just kind of like, I have my notepad or my phone, and that's how I write. Cause I'm not producing anything, but that's dope. That's real discipline right there.
Listen, that's all you need. If you
and a recorder. I'm just gonna like, and then I'll send it to you guys and be like, what you think?
Exactly. Listen, you know what? You figure out what your strengths are, and then you maximize that. So if your strength is listen, I always got my phone with me everywhere. It has a notepad and a voice recorder, and you have good enough pitch that you could be able to sing your ideas and send it to us, and we can be like, oh yeah, we definitely we see exactly where you're going with that. Yeah, let's work that out. But then, some folks won't even use what they have available to them. And that's my thing. It's just, if this is what you want to do, then figure out how you can do it the best for you. Be the best you possible. You don't have to be me. They don't have to be you. They just need to be the best version of themselves.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. It's kind of like, don't compare yourself with other people. It's like, you should be the barometer of your own success or whatever you do. Yes. But everyone else is just like, they're there and we are connected. But when it comes to what you want to do, it's like, you're the only person you should only focus on. That's and your path, because it's so unique.
We're all given a talent, and you just got to figure out what your talent is and the best way to maximize what that is. And everybody's talent is different. Like, you can't compare like what you do to someone else, like you were just saying, because they're them and you're you. Just be the best you that you can be.
Right. And then just going off of that, just knowing that there's no specific path to getting to where you want to be. I know one other question that like my AZRA DDs and I talk about during our like live sessions is like, some of them, they're like, I want to be an artist. I'm doing music or I'm producing or I'm DJing, but I still have my side hustle. I still have my job. And I'm just like, like having that, like having a side hustle or a job is not a bad thing. In fact, a lot of us do. I still have my day job that I do, and I make music and, it's all time management. And that's the thing. It's like, if you choose, like what you mentioned, Jamie, like once you figure out what your passion is and that you want to go after something, like you can't just hop right into that world. You got to transition. And whether that takes a while or like it takes, I don't know, years for some people, like that's fine. Like there's so many people, even like Grammy winning, people, like I know they still have their side hustle and it's not a bad thing.
Well, here's why. And here's why it's not a bad thing. You're 100% correct, right? The thing is, sometimes you got to invest in yourself. You got to uplift yourself. The thing is, at the end of the day, right? If you need to hop in the studio to record, and you know this, right? And you got to go in with some folks and rent out a studio or whatever the case is. Not everybody's got millionaire parents or not everybody's a millionaire themselves. The thing to find out if you're passionate about something, if this is your passion, ask yourself this. If you are doing your hot side hustle, what is that side hustle for? Is it for you to just buy clothes and hang out? Or is it for you to have a dope TV in the living room? Or is your side hustle just a vehicle to get you to what you want to do? So
it's all perspectives. Yeah.
Exactly. For myself, when I was first starting, I started singing when I was 3 years old in church. I started competing when I was 5. And I got my first car when I was 15 and a half. I actually found a car, believe it or not, in the junkyard. It ran, it was great. And I begged my dad to buy it. And he made me pay him back. And so I lived in Palmdale. So, Palmdale's about an hour north of Los Angeles. That's where I'm from. But the thing is, every talent show, every weekend that I was trying to be a part of so I could be discovered would be in LA. And my dad was like, listen, I'll pay the insurance on the car, but you got to put gas in it. Like, you got to do the upkeep and the maintenance on it. I'm not going to do that. You got to take care of this car yourself, because if you have to spend your own money on it, you'll appreciate it and you'll take better care of it. So I said, okay. So I got a job as a landscaper, and I was doing landscaping. And every weekend when all my homies were like, yo, we're going to go out with the girls. We're going to go out on dates. We're going to go to the movies. We're going to go up to the Sizzler.
No, I got a job.
Yeah, right? And my whole thing was, listen, my job ain't to go out on dates. That job is to keep gas in my car to get to the talent shows out in LA. That job is to, if I'm going to buy clothes, I'm buying clothes because I need to get on stage and I need to look good while I'm singing. So the clothes that I'm gonna buy is not for me to go to try to impress some girls. These clothes are for me to go perform in. So my side hustle was 100% fueling what my passion was. And the thing is, in order to do that, you know, I was lucky. I was a kid, so I didn't have rent to pay. You know, my parents took care of that. I didn't have any bills. But the thing is, as an adult, you know, you got bills, you got rent. So once you take care of all that stuff and you have free time, what do you dedicate your free time to? Is it chilling, being with, you know, your boyfriend, your girlfriend? Is it to buy clothes, to go on vacation? Or are you so passionate about what you're doing or where you're trying to go to that side hustle is just providing the gas in the tank for the car over here that's trying to get you to where you want to drive to? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so there's
absolutely.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. You guys hear that, AZRA? There's nothing wrong. And that's the thing. Same thing for me. It's like, you know, I have been having my side hustle, my day job. And for a while, I used to be like, oh no, like this is like, I don't even want to talk about that. I just want to talk about my music. But then there was a click moment. I'm like, hell, you know, that's something that I should be proud of. I should be proud that, like, you know, this is how dedicated I am, so that I'm willing to dedicate my time to use my other talents, you know, in business or in consulting or whatever, to do that, you know, do it well, and then be able to fuel my art and my artistry. And, you know, for a while I was rejecting that, but then I realized, I'm like, you know what? Everything, like the universe provides you with what you need at that moment. It's perfectly given. And I was like, I'm just gonna accept it, and I'm gonna find good things out of it and use that to my advantage to fuel my art, so that I can give the message and the music that I want to serve my fans. So, you know, changing that perspective, again, in the sixth dimension, we change perspective so then we can live a greater, you know, limitless life, right? Right. Doing that, it like completely changed the game for me. And then also just like being empowered too, no matter what.
Yeah. Listen, you got to look at the side hustle as just a tool. The side hustle is a tool to help your main hustle. And so if your main hustle is music and whatnot, you still got to live. You still got to eat. You still got to be able to say, when you want to get out on the road and you want to go have some clothes made specifically for your shows, or you want to go out and do a dope photo shoot with that photographer who shoots all of these other people, and you want to work with them. But the thing is, that photographer, he eats from his pictures, right? That's his main hustle.
Yeah.
You won't do it for free just because you're pretty or your music is dope. No, that's how he eats. So the thing is, your side hustle has to fuel your main hustle. And if that's your passion and you look at it that way, then you don't have a problem with the side hustle.
Yes. And you can do it with like gratitude and like joy.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, this is amazing. I hope that our conversation, I mean, Jamie, like connecting with you is always so inspiring and uplifting. And it's like, we don't just talk about like all the happy giddy stuff, right? It's always been like both like the negatives and the positives, and finding ways to rise from it. And I think that our listeners and our AZRA deities and everyone here, your fans, everybody, I think they are going to benefit a lot from our conversation. So I think our conversation today, like that kind of goes back to like dangerous. Let's bring it back to dangerous, you know, because the song is all about just owning yourself, you know, being unapologetic and just going after what you want without feeling like, you know, oh, you have to like, you know, you have to like compromise you. No, you don't have to. So my last question, actually I have two more questions. My last question is, what was your reaction when you listened to the final master for the first time? I know you produced it and we co-wrote it, but what was your thought and like your reaction?
You know what? So I look at songs the same way I look at my children, right? Is that you start out with the seed, and the seed is the idea, right? But the growth, you see it right before your eyes, that we have a session or two and we write the song, we write the melodies, and we'll sing a rough and live with that rough of it and make sure we're good. That's like watching your kid go through, you know, K through 5 and graduate from 6th grade to to middle school.
Yeah.
And then you come in and you record it. And you're like, damn, we got some great vocals from AZRA today. That's like watching your kid graduate high school. You know what I'm saying? And then you put it together and you mix it. And once you get it mastered, that's like watching your child get a master's degree, a walk across. And you just feel proud and you feel happy. And you got that love, like, yo, you know, and I know for me personally, anything I work on, when I look at a song and I say to myself, God, I wish I could have that song for my own project. That's what I feel like. You know, I feel something because I'm like, damn, man, I need that record. I got to write one like it for me, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, there's a proudness that you have for your work, and there's a love you have for your work, whether it's your voice on it or someone else's. You know, for me, I like to look at, I feel like it's important for all of us to give back. It's important for all of us to pay forward the success and the gifts that we've been given. So for me, I love working with artists like you who will listen and take direction well, but also who I could hopefully encourage and just give some thoughts and wisdom to, and hopefully you'll be able to use that in your own career, and then hopefully you'll give some of that in a mix with what you've learned yourself to someone else, and the cycle of paying it forward. So it's like, even when I'm listening to the music that I've created, you know, with you and with my partners and whatnot, I'm just like, you know, wow, this is so awesome, because I feel like there's so much that I've put into it, and hopefully that music will make someone listening to it feel something, help them in some type of way or another. So I'm always like, you know, when we listen to the last one, and, you know, you're our client and we want to make sure you're happy. And so when I see you smiling and dancing like, hey, you know, then I'm like, okay, yo.
That was the reaction, seriously. We're like,
I'm like, you know, you're feeling what I'm feeling. Like, we on the same wavelength up in here. So
and you know what? Yeah, and you know what's amazing is the listeners and the fans. They have been so like just vibing with Dangerous for the last year, and you know, it hit #1 on the digital airplay charts.
Yes.
For like 2 weeks straight, and that's global. That's global independent music, and just seeing like my name and our song Dangerous, and then you, Matt, Justin, like just being able to share that and with our fans, it's been a great experience, and I cannot wait for us to continue to, you know, share our inspiration, if people think it's inspiring, but continue to share our music and our message. I can't wait for that. And I just want to say thank you so much, Jamie, for being part of this 6th dimension journey and allowing me to be part of your amazing journey as a producer, songwriter, Grammy-winning freaking artist, singer, and just like a dope human. So.
Oh, my shucks.
Did I make you speechless?
Trying to get me blushing on TV, you know, on your camera. No, thank you. I appreciate that. No, I appreciate it. And, you know, you are a pleasure to work with. You are an amazing human being yourself. You're driven, and I just wish nothing but just great success and God's best for everything you do, and all your fans and folks supporting you. And I just want to say thank you to all of them as well. And, you know, let's make this music go to the top.
Yes, hell yeah. And everybody who are listening, please check out Jamie Jones. I'm sure many of you guys already know him through his music. Go follow him on all social media. Jamie, do you want to share your socials?
You can check me out at, well, my socials are really easy. It's just at Hey Jamie Jones, JamieJones. Hey Jamie Jones, everywhere. Instagram, you know, Twitter, all that stuff. I got a new website that we're developing right now, and that's jamiejonesmusic.com. And I'm getting ready to drop some new music as an artist, as a solo artist, as well as, you know, we'll have some off-the-one stuff coming. And so that's what's up.
Awesome. So you guys hear that? Go check him out and comment. I'm going to be dropping this session, our episode, very shortly. And when you watch this, it's already been dropped. So stay tuned for more episodes and more conversations with amazing, you know, collaborators and great friends of mine. So thanks for listening. Thank you, Jamie, again. And shout outs to our friend, Matt, Wong, Maddie Fresh, who couldn't be part of this.
Yes, but he's all his love.
Yeah, amazing. So, and shout outs to Justin too, who helped mix and master Dangerous. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you guys, and I will talk to you later.
Awesome. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.